Hi guys, welcome back to the new episode of Clout Insider. Do you know on January 6, 2009, the last of the 813 Woolworth stores that had operated the best part of the century in United Kingdom closed their doors for the last time? At one level, this could just have been a story about another victim of the prevailing credit crunch, but Woolworth's brand problem predated that. The Woolworth story starts on the outskirts of Utica, New York in 1879. 27-year-old Frank Winfield Woolworth opened his first store based on his experience with a previous employer who had held a successful clearance sale. He saw the possibilities of a discount store with the added twist that merchandise would be an open display rather than behind counters. In addition, prices were plainly marked, so eliminating the need for the time-consuming handling. The venture was not a success and the store closed the following year. However, Woolworth correctly deduced that poor location rather than having the strong strategy was his problem. He opened a new store in downtown Lancaster, Pennsylvania in 1881, and soon he was opening stores around the North America continent. At one point, a new store was opening every 17 days. By 1913, Woolworth was a millionaire with a shiny new headquarters in New York's Woolworth building, then the tallest building in the world. Woolworth was America's largest restaurant chain throughout the 1940s, and by the late 1970s, its 4,000 outlets made it the world's largest department store chain. But by the late 1990s, business was in decline. In 1997, the company closed all of its American department stores, renamed itself Veneter, selling off the Woolworth building. In 2003, Veneter renamed itself after the conglomerate's most successful division, Foot Locker, which in 2010 operated through 3,641 stores and claimed justification to be the world's largest retailer of the aesthetically inspired footwear. Though the Woolworth brand died in the USA under separate ownership, Woolworth stores still operated in Austria, Germany, Mexico, South Africa, and the United Kingdom. The first store in England opened in 1909, following much the same model of United States. Woolies, as it was affectionately known, became present on nearly every high street over the next half century, hitting its peak in 1960s, operating over 1,000 stores across the UK. Woolworth was defined by the such products in pick and mix streets, and shoppers could rely on it for anything from stationery to garden furniture at affordable prices. It was the first chain to make its own brand items, so craving out a niche for itself. Independent from its suppliers, it even had its own musical label. From then on, however, it was a downhill all the way. The difficult financial climate of the 1970s saw the company decline, eventually being sold in 1982 to Paternoster Stores, later to be known as the Kingfisher Group. Under Kingfisher, Woolworth tried several concept stores throughout the 1990s with no auspicious success. When Kingfisher was outbid by Walmart of Asda, it decided to spin Woolworth off, refloating it as an independent company in 2001. A period of modest achievement effectively ended in April 2005, and when the company had to issue the first in a series of profit warnings. By 2008, it was losing money fast. It tried to raise money to keep going through the crucial Christmas period when traditionally it made 80% of its annual profit. But the financial world was in meltdown, with bankers not even sure if they would be in business themselves in a month, yet alone if should not support a risky venture such as Woolworth. The end came quickly, and despite a number of increasingly desperate rescue bids, the only serious buyers were the queues of bargain hunters which formed before the doors opened in each store for the final time. So here's the lessons from Woolworth. First, market move and the brand must keep its pace. Consumer got used to a higher and higher standard every year, and Woolworth was left behind. Secondly, brands are for winners. Going to IKEA, TK Maxx and Primark, for example, although the whole atmosphere of sale is cheap, you feel good about yourself and sense you are getting a bargain. Going into Woolworths, you felt a cheapskate at the best and worst, still a loser. Thirdly, brands need identity. Woolworth's annual report claimed the company's strength lay in the chain focus on the home family entertainment. But the customer research indicated that there were no items to associate with Woolworth. It had no unique qualities, just an inherent layout with sun lotion next to the sweet counter, which in turn was next to the school bags, calendars, tools, and cloth pages. Customers tended to go there mostly as a last resort when the shops they usually used had run out. A year after Woolworth closed, Poundland and a competitor with a clear offer and a brand reported profits up to 130% on sales, nearly third higher. Much of its growth came from snapping up recently closed Woolworth site. Last but not the least, brand needs business focus as well as customer focus. Woolworth was two quite different businesses. The high street retailer everyone knew, loved, and brought very little from, and though Entertainment UK, a major supplier of CDs and DVDs to Asda, Marks and Spencer and Zavi, through in March 2006, had lost the majority of a lucrative contract to supply Tesco. The two businesses had very different cash flow profiles. The stores took credit from suppliers and cash from the customers. The more they sold, the more cash they generated. EUK's business mode was the opposite, paying suppliers in 30 days but getting paid itself in 60 days or longer, as the giant retailer used their buying muscle to take extended credit. The more EUK sold, the worse Woolworth's cash position became. The deteriorating state of the economy meant that over the summer of 2008, most of the Woolworth 20 credit users stopped insuring its suppliers. This meant Woolworth had to pay suppliers pro forma before the goods had been sold, consuming an additional 200 million, in effect wiping out cash flow reserves. For more stories, please subscribe Cloud Insider.